So today I'm wearing the Alante Ultra Black watch. It's one I reviewed recently on the channel. If you haven't checked out the video, check it out. But the question I want to answer today is whether or not I would have purchased this watch without having seen it first. If all I happened to do was come across the Alante.me website or maybe another YouTuber's review and thought to myself, wow, that's really nice looking, I should go ahead and order it online. No, 100% I wouldn't have done it. There's no way. Because although it looks nice in pictures, it doesn't stand out in pictures. It's not that kind of watch. It's the kind of watch that you really have to experience on wrist to appreciate. And when I met Al from Alante and checked out some of his watches and I saw this one, it immediately grabbed me because of the sharp contrast between that ultra black dial and that high polished case. And when I tried it on, that was it. I was done, 100% sold. And a lot of other people I've shown it to, other watch enthusiasts, have felt the same way, right? They saw my review, they're like, looks kind of cool, but then they see it in person and they're like, shit, that's really nice. Like, that is a exceptional piece of craftsmanship. And that's what today's video is about. It's about making the right decision, but educating yourself in a way that allows you to do it. So let's get into it. So to preface this, I've got my buddy Maury with me. He's here for a specific reason. We're not going to get into that right away. And he has no clue what this particular video is about, and I thought it was best that way. But quite often I have people ask me, you know, which microbrand do you think I should go for? Or which microbrands are the best microbrands? And I always give them the same answer. And I said, what I tell you isn't necessarily going to be the right answer for you. So I always tell them, do yourself a favor and just try as many on as possible. And then what usually happens is the next response I get, and sometimes it's from the individual who asks the question, sometimes it's from a third party, but they kind of get in my face about we're talking about microbrands here. It's not like you can just go and try them on. You got to kind of take a risk. Now, Maury and I are lucky enough to live in Toronto, so here we have the Toronto Timepiece Show. It's a relatively new edition, but because this is such a niche market, there are very few cities that have an equivalent, right? Unless you live in like Switzerland or something, you're not going to get too many timepiece shows. But there are other ways to try on microbrand watches. I travel a lot. That's not available to most of you. But what I always tell either the person who asks the question or the third party who steps in is join a watch group. Find a watch meetup. Go meet other people who collect watches because microbrands tend to be in most people's collections. Maury's here today, and why are you here today?
I imagine we're here to discuss the Revelat on my wrist.
No, why are you actually here today?
Because we're going to a watch club meeting this evening for Red Bar Toronto chapter.
There you go. We are going to a Red Bar Toronto meeting, and Maury's brought a number of his watches along, but the watch he happens to be wearing today is?
It's the Revelat Hex Mariner.
A microbrand.
A microbrand.
A microbrand out of Singapore. So unless you happen to be going to Singapore anytime soon, and it actually isn't that long ago I was there. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to stop in and check out Revelat. But because I'm going to the Toronto Red Bar meeting, Maury happens to have one, I can try it on if I like. I can get a feel for it. Is it for me? Do I like it up close? Because let's be honest, what you see online
is seldom. It's like car pictures. Car pictures often look
that's a great
amazing
example.
In photographs, and then you see it on the street and you go, whoa.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's nothing. I had the same experience with a watch.
Yeah.
I saw a watch poster on a bus stop, and I thought that's like the best looking watch I've ever seen. So I wandered into a jewelry store. I asked to see the watch. They handed it to me. It looked nothing like the picture. Yeah. And I walked out without it, of course.
Yeah, and I've felt that way a number of times. I've also had the flip side happen to me. I've seen watches that I did not like online, and I finally see one in real life, not that I was going out of my way to do it, it just happened to be somebody at Red Bar that had one, and I was like, holy shit, now I get it. that's a great timepiece. It may not be the most extravagant timepiece, but when you see the finishing up close, you realize how good it actually is. So getting a chance to try things on is a huge step toward finding the right watch. Because ultimately, if you purchase a watch that isn't satisfactory, it can be very difficult to move on from it financially, right? If you don't like it in person, there's a good chance a lot of people won't, right? And like he mentioned cars, and that's such a good example because I had heard about what he drove previous to seeing it. And when I saw it, I was stunned because I thought he drove a hot hatch and it's more around the size of a small SUV.
Yeah.
What is it that you drive?
It's a Hyundai Ioniq 5.
Ioniq 5. If you look at it in pictures, you're going to see what looks to be a big Civic, like a big CRX almost. But then when you see it in person, it's not a big CRX. It eats CRXs for breakfast. It's absolutely huge. It's wide. It has a very sizable wheelbase. It's a big car, but it doesn't drive like one, which is kind of cool.
No.
It's a cool car. If you haven't seen one before, go check it out. But this is about watches. So he's got the Revolot Hex Mariner. It stands out because of that dial and because of the integration of that hex pattern in practically everything to do with the watch. And online, it's an interesting looking watch, but not a great looking watch, in my opinion. But up close, the finishing is better than the price attached to it. And that's really what a lot of people beginning in their watch collecting journey are looking for. They're looking for value. Wise is the same thing. I've done reviews on Wise timepieces. You can check out the previous reviews on my channel, but it's the same thing. You get a lot for what you're spending. But that isn't all of what watch collecting is about. Sometimes it's not about getting the best value. Sometimes it's just about getting something cool. And a watch that I saw at a Toronto Red Bar meeting, I had assumed I would probably never see unless I got really lucky. And it didn't take that much luck. It just took attending a meeting and lo and behold, it was there. And it happens to be a watch that Maury's brother owns. And that's the Colloquium Project 1. That's a very unique, very rare, not an inexpensive timepiece. And maybe you're not getting the same value out of a timepiece like that you get out of something like a Revolot or a Wise, but you're getting something that's so different, the cost doesn't really matter because you're getting something that the person who purchases it really wants. And having an opportunity to see it for myself up close on wrist, I understand the hype around it. And I would have never seen that watch if it wasn't for joining a watch club. It wasn't like Colloquium was at the Toronto Timepiece Show.
No.
Right? And there are a number of other watches that I've seen that I had never even heard of by attending Toronto Red Bar meetings or other watch meetups. Tonight we're going to a Toronto Red Bar meeting. I'm hoping to see a few more Microbrands. I'm going to snap some pictures of the Microbrands I come across and share them with you a little bit later in this particular video. What Microbrands are you kind of interested in right now?
Right this minute, I've got a short list.
Okay.
There's a company out of Montreal called, the name's eluding me now.
Is it the solar one?
It's, the Heron. Yeah,
Oh, Heron. Okay.
The Heron and Marinor. They've got a 50 fathom style watch, but it's their own version of it, their own take on it.
Yeah.
It's in Caribbean blue. It's stunning. And they've hardened the steel to 1200 Vickers, which is 60% of the way to sapphire hardness.
Shout out Canadian watchmakers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's on my short list.
Yeah. And you've seen it.
And I've seen it.
Okay.
And actually, there's a new model coming in the next couple of months. They're releasing version 2 of the watch, and it's a couple of millimeters thinner, which is awesome. Miyota 9000 powered, about 850 Canadian dollars. Stunning value, beautiful watch. And being almost impossible to scratch, it makes a great everyday watch.
Yeah, it's a good gata.
It's a great gata. Also looking at, I have a The Citizen, which is a Japanese import. It's amazing. I love it. But I wouldn't mind bringing in one of the washi paper dial versions. Stunning.
Again, so in that case, I mean, not a Microbrand, but it is a JDM, right?
It's only sold in Japan.
Japanese
I think
domestic model. So again, it's the kind of watch that you can't just go into your local AD and hope to see in North America. You're either going to have to take a chance and order it online, or see it maybe at a watch meetup when someone already has one. Now, I've seen You're the Citizen. I can vouch that the finishing quality on the Citizen watches is exceptional. Exceptional. It's hard to find anything that's significantly better without spending a ridiculous amount of money or upping it to a higher material, right? Maybe if you're going to a polished, like a platinum or something like that. But again, you're spending crazy money for that. So if you're looking for high finishing, the Citizen is something to look at, but maybe don't take a risk. Maybe try and find somebody who actually has one first. And having seen yours, and I understand why he wants the washi paper dial that he's after, it adds a little more presence to the actual watch as far as what you see on wrist, but it doesn't add any additional finishing quality to the watch. The finishing remains the same. It's just a matter of paying up for that special dial. But these are things that you can figure out the more you're able to see more watches by either going to shows, going to meetups, going to special events. Make an effort to try on as many watches as you can, even watches you might not be interested in, because they may share a specific feature with another watch that you are interested in. That's all. That's like the best advice I can give you. I mean, there are very few watches I've purchased without actually having seen them first.
Yeah.
I don't take too many risks when it comes to buying a watch. The only thing I'll usually buy without maybe having seen the exact model ahead of time is vintage, right? But then I'll have a good idea of maybe other models within that particular vintage, right? I've bought vintage Seikos and seen many vintage Seikos, but I've bought one that I haven't seen up close, but I kind of know what I'm getting. And that goes pretty much for most Microbrands too.
For sure.
If you've seen the quality from a specific Microbrand, usually that quality is repeated in their other models. If you've seen a $1,000 Microbrand watch from a specific brand and they release another $1,000 watch, very good chance that the quality is relatively the same.
Yeah.
We've seen multiple Wise models now.
Yes.
Between Maury and I, we've probably seen 5 different Wise models, and the quality is bang on across all of them. It's the same, right? I've seen probably 4 different Christopher Wards, current ones, all the same. I've seen 4 different Tusina out of Sweden, and I've been to their actual location. I've seen their whole model lineup when I was there, but I've seen individual models from different people who's owned them, and the quality is all the same. It's rare that the quality goes down. If anything, it might go up a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Most companies want to evolve, want to, improve, want to iterate, want to, that kind of thing. Funny story about the Christopher Ward example.
Yeah.
There's a single Christopher Ward watch that I've really wanted, but unfortunately it's sold out, so I'd have to buy it on the secondary market, and they're pricey.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere to go see this watch. And one showed up at Red Bar a few months ago. It was the Andrew Morgan watches, the red one.
Yeah, his version.
His version of the C1 Bel Canto, and it's amazing. So now I had it on my wrist. I looked at it. I was thinking one day I need to have this. Now, but again, it would have been a huge risk to buy one for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 Canadian.
Yeah.
Only to find out that you didn't love it.
That's right.
So the value there is huge.
I had a sort of different experience with the Bel Canto. I love the Bel Canto as a piece, as a watch design itself. But trying it on, I was turned off it. I was interested in it, then I tried it on, I was turned off it. Purely because of the size on wrist.
It's not a small watch.
It sits quite high, right? And I have watches that do sit high. I have an Accutron that sits high. Again, you can check out the review. But it doesn't sit as high or as awkwardly as the Bel Canto does. So for me, it would have been a big letdown if I had made that purchase sight unseen.
100%.
Just based on what I saw online. Because online, generally, let's be honest, the pictures are two-dimensional, right? Like, you're not really seeing a true representation of the height. And most watch manufacturers, if they know their watch is tall, has got some girth to it, they try and photograph it in such a way to hide it.
Yeah.
Right? They do their best to shoot on a specific angle, never straight on, things like that. So you're not going to highlight what could be a negative in pictures online when you're putting together your marketing materials. So having that opportunity, like you did and like I did, to try one on and find out for ourselves, is it for us? It's a big difference. And wrist size plays a big role. And it's not just the circumference of your wrist, it's the way your wrist is built. Because some people have very round wrists, some people have relatively flat wrists. A flat wrist can handle a much larger watch.
Yeah.
If it's a 7-inch flat versus a 7-inch round, you can handle a much larger watch. So you'll see people, and it's why I hate doing it in some of my reviews where they're talking about this is what it looks like on my 7.25-inch wrist, but really this is what it looks like on my wrist. Period. It's not what it looks like on your wrist or anybody else who has a 7.25-inch wrist. It's how it looks on my wrist, and how it looks on my wrist shouldn't determine whether or not you purchase it. It should come down to how it looks on your wrist. So again, I can't say it enough. Try on as many watches as you can, and if you've got an opportunity, join a watch club so that you can try on other people's watches without having to spend the money yourself. And if there isn't a watch club in your general vicinity, consider starting one. Start one. Reach out to any number of the different watch clubs that are available and say, hey, I want to get some people together in my particular region, but we don't have a chapter. Could be Red Bar, could be another company. I'd like to start it here and see what it requires. Or just go on Facebook and start this area watch club and then organize some, relatively casual meetups. You'll get an opportunity to try on some things that you may never have even heard of, like I have. And I cover watches, right? It's part of what we do on our channel. I research watches like crazy, and I still come across watches at some of these meetups I've gone to that I've never heard of before. Never seen, never came across online. None of the big watch, YouTubers, the kind of guys that I'd aspire to be maybe, have ever actually reviewed them. So I've had opportunities because of watch meetups that I would have never had. And it also helps you decide what you want to buy next. And you're not just buying randomly because of the latest, group of reviews that have come out because some new model's been released by some company that does their damnedest to make sure every YouTuber has one to review. That doesn't make it a good watch. It just makes it a watch that's been well reviewed.
What for the marketing budget?
Yeah, like Tissot PRXs. Like those. But yeah, that's all I wanted to get into. So I want to do a quick review with Maury, get his opinion as well. Is there one more Microbrand watch you might be interested in?
Oh, there's a couple.
Give us one more that you're looking at.
Formex, the Essence 39.
Okay, so here's where him and I differ. I don't really see Formex as a microbrand. I think most people do. To me, they're not a microbrand. To me, they're such a well-established company with such a long history that I see them as more of an independent.
Sure, I can see that.
But I think a lot of people would agree with you and see them as a microbrand.
Independent might be better because the Formex part of the company is new, but it's based on two other family companies that have been around for a long time that make watch components for very high-end watch companies. Yeah.
Which model is it?
The Essence 39.
Is there a particular dial or no?
The blue dial. I like
blue. Okay,
I like blue watches.
He's a blue junkie.
It's funny because this happened at Toronto Timepiece Show this year. I didn't get that watch. I saw the 4 screws in the corners and I thought, well, the suspension thing's a gimmick. I don't get that. And then I tried it on. And their time in the industry and their innovation in the industry comes through loud and clear, maybe more than nearly anything I've tried on. The suspension, see if you don't know, there's 4 screws in the 4 corners and the watch actually can pivot.
It can flex.
When you put your hand down, the watch, instead of digging into your hand, it actually peels away sort of. and pivots away. That makes it really comfortable. The screws, you don't even see them. In pictures, again, they're always really prominent, but in reality, they're not even there. And the blue dial is a horizontal pinstripe dial, and I would normally not go for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I saw it. It was on the display. They had the malachite dial, which is fine. I liked it less in person than I thought I would. I actually went to see that. And then I saw the blue pinstripe, and it's like, it shouldn't be this nice. But I put it on wrist, and it looked and felt spectacular.
I got to agree with them. I love the Formex Essence especially, and I was surprised at how much I like the Reef as well.
Yeah.
The Reef, again, these are watches that online look relatively simple.
Yeah.
They don't look that attractive or interesting online, but when you actually see them up close and you actually try them on, you realize how well proportioned they are, how well finished they are, how comfortable they are. The little minute details that they add to things like the clasp and that suspension system and that, it just makes it more than your typical watch. It's if you added it to your collection, it would stand out amongst the rest because it has something about it that none of the other watches have. And I love that in a watch because I'm very, very particular about what makes it in my collection. Speaking of that, I will be releasing my State of the Collection, the 8 watches I am currently rolling with, coming shortly after Christmas, but before New Year's. So if you haven't yet, do yourself a solid, subscribe to the channel. It's free. I'll be doing giveaways when we hit 5,000. A free watch is going to somebody. And I'm also doing a Christmas giveaway. Good chance Maury's going to win it. Because it's only to the members side of the channel, and I think he's one of 2 members right now. So he's got a 50% chance of coming up big. Till next time, hope you enjoyed our little chat. If you want to hear more of watch talk like this, let us know in the comments. See you then.
See you.